because of heavy industry, because of all the other components of the food chain, literally food chain, the supply chain. And so we have our work cut out for us. And as a consequence, this sector needs innovation now more than ever. We're facing record malnutrition at a time when agriculture, more than any other sector, is suffering from the impacts of the climate crisis. And I refuse to call it climate change anymore. It's not change, it's a crisis. We're beyond the concept of just change, and we can manage the change. And without action, millions of lives and livelihoods are going to be at risk. There are scientists who will tell you today that the probability of a large portion of Africa that is a huge food supplier to the continent could implode in terms of its agricultural capacity if we don't get control of what we're doing. 15 million people are dying every single year around this planet as a consequence of greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere, in the air, which travels around and drops in the form of pollution and is warming the ocean at record rates, changing the chemistry of the ocean itself. Without action, millions of lives and the livelihood of the planet is at risk. In parts of the world, climate crisis has now cut growth in agricultural yields by as much as 40%. And at the same time, food systems themselves contribute a significant amount of emissions just in the way in which we do the things we've been doing. Though this conference over the last 2 days, I know, has been really grappling with sort of how we change that dynamic and what we do. But with a growing population on the planet, we just crossed the threshold of 8 billion fellow citizens around the world. We just crossed that in this last year. But emissions from the food system alone are projected to cause another 0.5 degree of warming by mid-century on the current course that we are today. And instead of being on a course to be able to hold the Earth's temperature increase to 1.5 degrees, we're actually on a course to hit around 3 degrees right now. And I say that to you folks coming from some who've done analysis within the oil and gas industry itself, who have come to that conclusion based on their modeling. So that's not some, fly-by-night operation that is suggesting that that may be where we are headed. Now, a 2-degree future could result in an additional 600 million people not getting enough to eat. And you just can't continue to both warm the planet while also expecting to feed it. Doesn't work. And as is so often the case with respect to the climate crisis, we have to fight on multiple fronts simultaneously. This is the biggest organizational effort that I think we have faced certainly since World War II, but perhaps ever. So we have to reduce emissions from the food system to keep the 1.5 degrees alive. Why do we have to keep 1.5 degrees alive? Because scientists, as a basis of physics and mathematics, not ideology and politics or party labels or anything else, as a matter of physics and mathematics and some biology and chemistry, have told us these are the consequences, and we already see it happening. And almost everything they've predicted for 30 plus years now is coming true, but the problem is it's coming true faster and bigger than was in fact predicted. So this is where innovation becomes critical, all across the front, not just in managing livestock and the other problems of durability and resilience of crops against heat. By the way, we lose 10 million people a year above the 15 million to the quality of air, or lack of quality. We lose 10 million people a year on the planet to extreme heat now. That has doubled in the last 5-10 years. So we need innovation in order to make nutrient-rich crops that are resilient to never before seen heat and drought conditions. And last summer, all you have to do is look around the world. Colorado River, Lake Mead, Lake Powell, the Rhine River, where navigation stopped during the summer because it was only inches deep. You could walk across. So we need the innovation to obviously limit livestock production contributions to our emissions and to come up with novel feed additives and other ways of dealing with it. We need innovation to get plants the nutrients that they require without the high environmental and climate costs of nitrous oxide emissions and fossil fuel-based fertilizers. It's not just hard science, folks. We've heard this. You heard from Dr. Kremer a little while ago. We need economic, social, and policy innovation in order to scale adaptation of these technical solutions and get them into the hands of folks in the fields of smallholder farmers on a worldwide basis. So this is the promise of AIM for Climate. And these are the exact innovations already being advanced by many of you in this room. Looking ahead, we've built a foundation. Now we have to come to COP28, which already has 3 automatic outcomes. There will be a stocktake, global stocktake. We can just read the IPCC report of a few weeks ago and you understand where that's going to be. Not great news. Then we have the adaptation report, and we have to double the amount of money because we promised to do that in Sharm el-Sheikh and Glasgow on adaptation. And we will have the loss and damage fund to try to give life to it and begin to build legitimate faith and trust with the global south of the world, which contributes so little to this problem and rightfully is looking around the world for how they're going to survive. So we need your help in this fight beyond what you're doing today. I invite you to join a list of 12 countries